escalation in violence perpetrated with guns, particularly among our young people, in a manner that I have never seen before.
We're outmanned, we're outstaffed. We do need responsible gun legislation.
Defund the police, and then they want to take our Second Amendment right to defend ourselves.
Supporting the National Organization Women's Legal Defense Fund. I didn't know.
Americans have the fundamental right to keep and bear arms that shall not be infringed.
Amidst heated debates in New Mexico, Senate Republicans champion the Second Amendment, defending citizens' rights to bear arms, explore the legal battle and its implications for constitutional rights. Defending 2A rights. In a united front, Senate Republicans have voiced their staunch support for a Second Amendment rights of New Mexico citizens, amidst concerns over recent actions taken by Governor Michelle Grisham. The governor's executive order, 2023-130, followed by the unconstitutional public health order, has raised alarm bells regarding potential infringements on gun rights within the state. On September 6, 2023, a tragic incident claimed the life of an 11-year-old boy in the aftermath of a baseball game, prompting a collective call for justice from Senate Republicans. While they remain committed to working with law enforcement to combat violent crime, they believe that Governor Grisham's response, embodied in the executive order, oversteps constitutional boundaries. Governor Grisham's declaration of a state of public health emergency due to gun violence on September 8, 2023, further exacerbated concerns. This order, backed by the New Mexico Department of Health, prohibits the open or concealed carry of firearms in Albuquerque and Bernalillo County, invoking state law to support its actions. Senate Republicans firmly assert that the Department of Justice holds the authority to defend the rights enshrined in the U.S. Constitution. They contend that the Second Amendment rights of New Mexico citizens should not be sacrificed under the guise of public health concerns.
That suspension does not apply to any private property.
Ban assault weapons, ban them again, do it now, enough, do something.
The urgency for the Department of Justice to intervene in this matter cannot be overstated. Senate Republicans call on the DOJ to meticulously scrutinize the legal foundation of Governor Grisham's orders and take decisive action to safeguard the rights of their constituents. They stress that this issue carries ramifications beyond state lines and sets a precedent for potential encroachments on Second Amendment rights nationwide. Additionally, Senate Republicans advocate for a comprehensive approach to address gun violence. This includes initiatives focused on bolstering background checks, enhancing mental health services, and supporting community-based violence prevention programs. By adopting a multi-pronged strategy, they believe that safer communities can be achieved without compromising fundamental rights. In Assumption, Senate Republicans express their unwavering support for the Second Amendment rights of New Mexico citizens and commend the Department of Justice for its role in upholding the Constitution. They stand ready to collaborate in the pursuit of justice and the protection of constitutional principles, affirming their commitment to a balanced and responsible approach towards gun rights and public safety. Emergency response to gun violence. Governor Michelle Grisham's response to the tragic murder of an 11-year-old boy who lost his life on his way home from a baseball game was one of deep sorrow and resolute determination. The governor's heartfelt message extended condolences to the families and underscored the profound impact of such senseless acts of violence on the affected communities. As a mother and grandmother, Governor Grisham's empathy for the families involved was palpable. She recognized the enduring pain and grief that these incidents would inflict on the loved ones of the victims. In light of the gravity of the situation, she made the weighty decision to declare gun violence a public health emergency in the state of New Mexico. This declaration was not made lightly. Governor Grisham acknowledged the strides her administration had already taken in terms of legislative action, support for law enforcement, and increased resources for public safety. However, she also recognized that this was a call for more. It was a call for every level of society to come together in a unified effort to combat the underlying causes of gun violence. The governor's plea extended to parents, urging them to take responsibility for the safe storage of firearms in their homes. She emphasized the vital role of district attorneys and judges in ensuring that justice is served swiftly and effectively. Her call for gun store owners to be vigilant against illegal straw purchases underscored the importance of curbing the illicit circulation of firearms. Furthermore, Governor Grisham highlighted the significance of the state's red flag law, a legal tool designed to identify individuals who pose a potential threat to themselves or others and temporarily restrict their access to firearms. She urged law enforcement agencies to make full use of this resource, in order to prevent future tragedies.
Americans have the fundamental right to keep and bear arms that shall not be infringed.
If you are committing a crime in Bernalillo County and we catch you, we're going to force you to get treatment through the criminal justice system.
In issuing this declaration, Governor Grisham conveyed a resolute commitment to combating gun violence. She called for a collective effort, urging citizens to raise their voices and demand change. This plea for accountability extended not only to communities, but also to elected leaders, emphasizing the shared responsibility for the safety and well-being of New Mexico's children. Governor Grisham's message also included direct appeals to specific figures. She urged Mayor Keller of Albuquerque to take every possible action to stem the flow of illegal drugs and firearms into the city, emphasizing the need to prevent these items from falling into the wrong hands. Additionally, she addressed Attorney General Garland, expressing her repeated requests for additional federal agents to be deployed to New Mexico, underscoring the severity and urgency of the situation. In response to this declaration, Governor Grisham took immediate action by convening a meeting to discuss and determine the immediate steps that can be taken to further address gun violence in communities across the state. This proactive approach demonstrates the governor's steadfast commitment to tackling this critical issue head-on and her unwavering dedication to ensuring the safety and well-being of New Mexico citizens. Constitutional rights under threat. The senator's appeal centers on a fundamental constitutional issue, stemming from Governor Michelle Grisham's recent policy decisions. They contend that these measures encroach upon the constitutional rights of New Mexican citizens. Their argument hinges on Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution, a foundational provision that establishes the Constitution itself as the paramount law of the land. This means that any state law or action that contradicts the Constitution is rendered invalid, highlighting the foundational importance of constitutional adherence. A pivotal precedent in this context is the landmark Supreme Court case District of Columbia v. Heller. In this decision, the Supreme Court definitively affirmed the individual's right to own and carry firearms, particularly for self-defense purposes in potentially confrontational situations. This case has stood as a cornerstone in discussions surrounding the Second Amendment. The senators invoked the decision in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association, Inc. v. Bruin, another significant ruling that bolsters the right to carry handguns for self-defense outside of the home. This decision not only reinforces the Second Amendment, but also invokes the 14th Amendment, which guarantees equal protection under the law. In the senators' view, Governor Grisham's recent policy moves are viewed as a contravention of these crucial Supreme Court rulings. They argue that her policies not only infringe upon Second Amendment rights, but also potentially impede the protections guaranteed by the 14th Amendment and challenge the principles outlined in Article 4. This evaluation leads the senators to characterize Governor Grisham's actions as deeply unsettling. They emphasize that immediate intervention by the Department of Justice is imperative to avert what they perceive as an unmistakable violation of constitutional rights. Their concern extends beyond New Mexico, as they fear similar actions could be taken elsewhere in the U.S. should such overreaches go unaddressed.
A critical and urgent issue: gun violence in America. We're here because gun violence is destroying community.
We can't sit here and have debates. We can't wait for the 30-day session in January.
The letter is signed by a group of influential senators including Tom Tillis, Lindsey Graham, John Cornyn, John Kennedy, Marsha Blackburn, and Tom Cotton. This bipartisan coalition underscores the widespread belief that the Department of Justice must act swiftly to uphold constitutional integrity. Their united front signals a commitment to protecting citizens' rights and ensuring that any perceived overstep of constitutional bounds is promptly addressed. Given the evolving nature of the situation, these senators urgently call for a response from the Department of Justice to address what they consider an urgent concern for the constitutional rights of New Mexican citizens, as well as a broader concern for constitutional fidelity across the U.S. Governor's comprehensive effort. Governor Grisham's response to the escalating issue of gun violence in New Mexico is marked by a multi-pronged strategy aimed at both immediate action and long-term solutions. Through an executive order, the governor has allocated a substantial sum of $750,000 to state agencies. This funding is intended to be swiftly deployed in initiatives specifically designed to curb gun violence within the state. By providing these resources, Governor Grisham demonstrates a commitment to prompt and effective intervention. Furthermore, The executive order encourages local leaders, including mayors, sheriffs, and other officials, to proactively seek additional emergency funding from the state government. This inclusive approach acknowledges the collaborative effort required to address such a complex and pervasive issue as gun violence. By empowering local authorities to access additional resources, the governor is fostering a coordinated response that leverages the strengths of both state and local agencies. Governor Grisham's ongoing efforts to engage the federal government represent a critical component of her strategy. Since June of 2022, she has consistently advocated for increased federal resources to be directed towards New Mexico.
Seizure of weapons from the homes of law-abiding American citizens.
Supporting the National Organization Women's Legal Defense Fund. I didn't know.
This includes her recent dispatching of a fourth letter to the U.S. Department of Justice, in which she urgently reiterates the need for immediate assistance in combating the surge of violent crime. These persistent calls for federal support underscore the gravity of the situation and the governor's unwavering commitment to the safety and well-being of New Mexico's residents. However, it is noteworthy that despite the governor's repeated appeals over the course of the last year, there has been no discernible action taken by the Department of Justice in response to her requests. This underscores the urgency Governor Grisham attaches to addressing the critical issue of gun violence within the state. It also highlights the need for a more robust federal response to the escalating crisis. In SWIFT, Governor Grisham's approach combines immediate funding allocation at the state level with persistent advocacy for federal assistance. This multifaceted strategy reflects the complexity of the issue at hand and the governor's unwavering commitment to finding effective solutions. By taking proactive steps and actively engaging both state and federal resources, she is sending a strong message about the priority she places on ensuring the safety and security of New Mexico's communities. Debate emerges over New Mexico governor's gun ban. Governor Michelle Grisham's temporary ban on carrying firearms in public has ignited a heated debate, revealing deep divisions within her party and among gun control advocates. This controversy underscores the challenging terrain that advocates of stricter gun control laws must navigate, where the aspiration for more comprehensive legislation often meets legal and political roadblocks. The dispute holds significant weight as it encapsulates the perennial struggle faced by proponents of gun control. While there is a fervent desire to enhance public safety through more stringent regulations, the practical implementation of such policies encounters resistance, particularly in regions where gun ownership is deeply ingrained in the cultural and legal fabric. The decision by Bernalillo County Sheriff John Allen, a member of Governor Grisham's own political party, to publicly defy the 30-day ban is emblematic of the complex dynamics at play. Sheriff Allen's refusal to enforce the order stems from his conviction that it will have little impact on reducing gun violence. Instead, he contends, it could inadvertently infringe upon the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens who seek to exercise their right to self-defense. His concerns about potential political violence targeting his deputies and escalating violence in Bernalillo County further accentuate the practical challenges surrounding this policy. Governor Grisham's response to the pushback is marked by her resolve to stand by the temporary ban. By opting to have state police oversee its enforcement, she is making a strategic move to ensure compliance, even in the face of opposition from within her own party. This choice reflects her commitment to addressing the pressing issue of gun violence, even if it means diverging from the preferences of local law enforcement. The situation in New Mexico serves as a microcosm of the broader national debate on gun control.
Change a law, they are already used to breaking the law, and the people will still do it, will continue to do it.
Living in Albuquerque and Bernalillo County, I believe that you're safer for the next 30 days.
It exposes the intricate web of legal, political, and ideological considerations that leaders must navigate when proposing and implementing policies aimed at curbing gun-related violence. It also highlights the diversity of opinions within political parties on this divisive issue, illustrating the formidable challenge of achieving consensus, even within a unified political bloc. In conclusion, Governor Grisham's temporary ban on carrying firearms in public has thrust her into the midst of a contentious debate. The resistance she faces, particularly from Sheriff Allen within her own party, exemplifies the complexity surrounding gun control policy. The decision to engage state police for enforcement underscores her unwavering commitment to this cause, despite the challenging terrain she encounters. Ultimately, this episode sheds light on the intricate process of crafting and implementing gun control measures in a diverse and polarized political landscape. Controversy surrounding gun order. New Mexico Governor Michelle Grisham's recent executive order, which temporarily restricts carrying firearms in public places, has sparked a considerable amount of controversy. While it has predictably faced opposition from Republicans, it's noteworthy that it has also drawn criticism from members of her own Democratic Party and even some gun control advocates who question the order's legality. One prominent Democrat, Representative Todd Lieu from California, voiced his support for gun safety laws, but expressed reservations about the order's constitutionality. He emphasized his belief that the governor's action encroaches upon the U.S. Constitution, asserting that no state has the authority to suspend federal constitutional rights. This is a fundamental principle that holds the states cannot enact laws or orders that violate the protections afforded by the U.S. Constitution. This sentiment was echoed by gun control activist David Hogg, who himself is a survivor of the mass shooting at Stoneman Douglas High School. While firmly advocating for gun safety measures, Hogg also raised concerns about the order's compatibility with the U.S. Constitution. He emphasized that there is no recognized provision that allows a state to declare a public health emergency as an exception to the constitutional rights of its citizens. These critiques highlight a broader debate surrounding the balance between public safety and individual rights, particularly in the context of gun control measures. It underscores the fine line that policymakers must tread in implementing such policies, ensuring they are both effective in promoting safety and legally sound.
Defund the police, and then they want to take our Second Amendment right to defend ourselves.
For God's sake, America already has more guns than people. How many guns do we need until everybody is safe?
In essence, the controversy surrounding Governor Grisham's executive order demonstrates the intricate nature of policymaking, particularly in the realm of gun control. It brings to the forefront the challenges of crafting measures that effectively address pressing public safety concerns while respecting the fundamental rights enshrined in the U.S. Constitution. This debate serves as a microcosm of the larger national conversation surrounding gun control, where finding a middle ground that garners broad support remains an ongoing challenge. Jurisdiction over conceal and open carry. Grisham's assertion regarding jurisdiction over concealed and open carry laws holds significant implications within the realm of gun regulation. Concealed carry pertains to the practice of carrying a firearm in a manner that conceals it from public view, often involving holsters or concealed compartments. In contrast, open carry involves visibly carrying a firearm, typically in a holster on the hip. By claiming jurisdiction over these practices, Grisham is asserting her legal authority as a state official to regulate and make decisions concerning how concealed and open carry are permitted or restricted within the state's boundaries. In the U.S., governance operates under a dual system, wherein both federal and state governments possess separate domains of authority. Firearms regulation is one such area where both levels of government may have a say. States have significant autonomy in shaping their own gun laws, provided they do not contravene the U.S. Constitution. This autonomy leads to substantial variations in gun policies across states, with some opting for more permissive laws regarding concealed and open carry, while others adopt more stringent regulations. However, Grisham's acknowledgement of potential legal challenges suggests the contentious nature of gun control debates.
I'm not safe, and what are you going to do about it? I'm terrified in my own neighborhood.
To exercise their own decisions about what type of firearm they legally purchase and own.
It implies that her stance on concealed and open carry may face opposition from individuals or groups with different views on gun rights and regulation. This acknowledgement underscores the complex legal and political landscape surrounding gun regulation in the U.S., where state officials play a crucial role in shaping policies that influence the possession, carrying, and use of firearms within their jurisdictions. Legal battle over gun ban. The controversy surrounding New Mexico Governor Michelle Grisham's temporary gun ban in public spaces has garnered increasing attention and opposition over the course of the last 4 days. State Republican leaders, led by Chairman Steve Pierce, have voiced their strong intention to challenge this order through legal means, prepared to take the battle to the courts. Pierce acknowledges the complexity of this endeavor, recognizing that it will not be an easy fight, but underscores their unwavering commitment to filing a lawsuit against the public health order. While not providing specific details on how the party's lawsuit will directly challenge the order or its precise objectives, Pierce expresses a steadfast confidence in the strength of their legal argument. He believes that their case rests on sound legal footing, underscoring their belief that there are limitations to the power of all individuals, including the governor and even the president. Pierce places great emphasis on the principle that no one, regardless of their position or authority, is above the law, and he conveys this as a pivotal message to the governor. Imprecise. The current contention revolves around Governor Grisham's temporary gun ban, which has prompted significant opposition from Republican leaders. Their plan to pursue legal action is rooted in the steadfast belief that the governor's exercise of emergency powers should not override constitutional rights.
Or licensed security officer shall possess a firearm.
This dispute underscores the fundamental balance of power between the government and its citizens, a principle that Republican leaders argue must be vigilantly upheld, even in the face of public health emergencies. The situation is poised to undergo further legal scrutiny, with potentially far-reaching implications for both state governance and individual liberties. Predicting legal challenges. Grisham's anticipation of legal challenges to the order indicates her expectation of encountering opposition or resistance to the decision she has made. This suggests that there are likely individuals or groups who fundamentally disagree with her stance, prompting them to seek legal avenues to contest or challenge it. This scenario is common in the realm of public policy, especially in matters as contentious as gun control. Her statement, showing a little courage even when the clarity of that courage will be challenged is worth the fight, conveys a resolute and principled stance on her part. She is expressing that the importance of the cause, likely tighter gun control measures, justifies the potential legal hurdles and controversy it may entail. This statement demonstrates her unwavering determination to advance her decision, even in the face of expected obstacles. It underscores her commitment to what she believes is a critical issue, indicating that she sees it as her duty to take a stand, even if it means encountering legal challenges and potential controversy. In a broader context, this sentiment aligns with the fundamental principles of democratic governance.
Gun, we're outmanned, we're outstaffed. We do need responsible gun legislation.
But, Madam Speaker, guns have been prevalent in the United States of America since before our founding.
Elected officials are entrusted to make decisions that serve the best interests of their constituents, even when those decisions may be subject to legal review or public debate. It also highlights the significance of upholding core principles and values, even in the face of opposition. Constitutional rights at forefront. The primary focus of the debate is on the protection and interpretation of individual rights as outlined in the U.S. Constitution, particularly the Second Amendment, within the context of Senate Republican support for the Second Amendment in New Mexico. This signifies that the focus of the discussion is on the legal and ideological battle concerning the protection of individuals' right to bear arms. In this context, Senate Republicans are asserting that Governor Grisham's temporary gun ban may infringe upon citizens' Second Amendment rights. This raises questions about the balance between public safety and constitutional liberties, making it imperative to carefully weigh the limitations a government can impose on these rights, even during times of public health emergencies.
An escalation in violence perpetrated with guns, particularly among our young people, in a manner that I have never seen before.
The debate revolves around whether the governor's declaration of a public health emergency grants her the authority to temporarily suspend or limit constitutional rights, in this case, the right to bear arms. Furthermore, negotiations are likely to delve into legal interpretations of the Constitution, historical precedents, and how court decisions may shape the outcome of this dispute. It also underscores the broader significance of the case in terms of setting legal precedents that may impact future interpretations of constitutional rights in emergency situations. Constitutional rights concern. The expressed sentiments reflect a widespread concern regarding Governor Michelle Grisham's recent actions in New Mexico. Many believe that her decisions constitute a severe infringement on constitutional rights, causing a palpable sense of frustration and apprehension. According to prevailing opinions, Governor Grisham's actions are viewed as multiple felonies against individuals in New Mexico. This assertion is grounded in the belief that she has not only violated the state constitution, but also transgressed the U.S. Constitution. Given her legal background as an attorney, it is assumed that she would possess a deep understanding of the legal implications of her actions. There is a prevailing hope among many that Governor Grisham will face consequences for her alleged transgressions. Mention is made of the potential for impeachment and even incarceration, indicating a collective desire to see accountability for what is perceived as a significant breach of constitutional principles. However, there is also a tangible sense of skepticism about whether substantive action will be taken in response to the situation. There appears to be a degree of uncertainty regarding the potential outcomes, particularly in relation to the Department of Justice's role and response. Overall, these sentiments convey a collective belief in the gravity of the alleged constitutional violations and a shared aspiration for appropriate accountability. The situation has evoked widespread frustration and disappointment, particularly in light of Governor Grisham's legal expertise, which is presumed to have equipped her with a comprehensive understanding of the legal implications of her decisions. That's all for this video, folks. We'll see you next time.